my dear students, how are you all? I am Vaishnavi, your teaching buddy, and I welcome you all to study class 3 science with me by Science Horizon Acknowledge series, a unit of Amit Publishing House. So we are going to study unit 6, that is the environment, chapter number 10, light, sound and force. Correct? So let's move on to see what all we have in this chapter. So we are going to study about light, sound, shadow and force. Light. Can you see anything without light? Light हम लोग को लगता है कि light बस एक चीज है, हमने switch on करा and we got the light. But have you ever realized if there was no light, then how would you be able to see anything? So you need light to see things. Sun is the main source of light on the earth. During daytime, we do not usually switch on the electronic light. Why? Because we have the ultimate source of light, that is the sun. Now how are we able to see things at night without the sun? So the man discovered, first of all, in primitive ages, when he discovered fire. Now man has made many objects that given out light. So objects that give out light are called luminous objects. So these kind of bulbs and electronic devices which gives out light are called luminous objects. The sun and the stars are natural luminous objects. While torches, bulbs, candles, tube lights which are man-made, they are called man-made luminous objects. Now the objects that do not give any light, they are called non-luminous objects. Such objects become visible only when light falls on them. तो कुछ objects जो light नहीं produce करते हैं उनको हम non-luminous object कहते हैं, and those things or objects can be seen only when lights fall on it. So luminous objects, first of all, natural जो है वो है sun, star, and these are man-made things which on turning on gives out light. Now non-luminous things है जैसे कि पेंसिल, बॉल, टेबल, फैन, अलमीरा, एनीथिंग विच डू नॉट प्रोड्यूस लाइट, लेकिन हम इनको देख सकते हैं आफ्टर फोकसिंग लाइट ऑन देम. नाउ शैडो. लाइट ऑलवेज ट्रैवल्स इन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. करेक्ट? यू कैन चेक दिस बाय यूजिंग अ टॉर्च. अब आपको अगर ये एक्सपेरिमेंट करना है कि लाइट स्ट्रेट लाइन में ट्रैवल करता है, सो यूज अ टॉर्च एंड थ्रो अ बीम ऑफ लाइट, go to a dark room with a torch, switch on the torch, you will see a straight beam of light coming out of it. So अगर ये suppose torch है ना, if I turn it on, a straight beam of light will be there. When an object blocks the path of light, the shadow of the object is formed. अब हम सबको अपना shadow दिखता है under the sun or in any light area. So how do we see this? When there is an objection, एक कोई light के path में if there is some objection, so that time a shadow is created, and you can see your shadow on the ground on a bright sunny day. So this is light traveling in a straight line. There are 3 important facts about the shadow. First of all, the shadow is always formed on the opposite side of the source of light. शैडो कहाँ पे बनता है? अगर लाइट का सोर्स ऐसे है तो शैडो विल बी फॉर्म्ड ऑन द ऑपोजिट साइड. A shadow always appears to be black or dark in color. शैडो का कोई कलर नहीं होता. Whatever color of dress you are wearing, shadow will not show that color. It will always appear dark. Now a shadow may be bigger or smaller than the object. You see that a ball forms a shadow, but a piece of glass does not. तो कुछ और भी changes है shadow में. How? It happens because a piece of glass does not block the path of light. Glass क्या होता है? Glass से light pass through कर जाती है. अगर if this is a plate of glass and I focus a torch on it, you will be able to see light beyond the glass slab. But if there is a plastic board or a wooden board and you focus a light on it, behind the door, anything which is woody or plastic, light will not be shown because it blocks the object, it blocks the path. क्योंकि ग्लास ट्रांसपेरेंट होता है, ट्रांसपेरेंट के बियॉन्ड लाइट दिख सकता है, ओपेक ऑब्जेक्ट्स के बियॉन्ड लाइट नहीं दिख सकता. So we can divide objects into 2 kinds. Some objects like ball, books, they do not allow light to pass through them. They block the path of light, and such objects are called opaque objects. Okay, so shadows are formed only out of opaque objects. Now, some objects like glass tumblers, colorless thin plastic sheets, transparent sheets, they allow light to pass through them. So in that case, they are called transparent, और उस केस में shadow form नहीं होता है. Now let's study about eclipse. Eclipse क्या होता है? The earth revolves. Eclipse क्या होता है? ग्रहण. Like we say solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. आज ग्रहण है, सूर्य ग्रहण, चंद्र ग्रहण. So what are these? Basically ये form कैसे होता है? The earth revolves around the sun. This is sun, this is earth. Earth revolves around the sun. Okay. Now the light of the sun falls on the earth. So जब earth sun के आसपास घूम रहा है, sun का जो light है वो earth पे focus करता है. Correct? Now the moon revolves around the earth. Now this is sun, this is earth. Now this is moon which is revolving around the earth. So the moon reflects the light of the sun. So what happens? Moon sun का light लेके ही bright होता है. Moon का खुद का कोई light नहीं है. So when the sunlight falls on moon, we can see that bright moonlight. Sometimes the earth or the moon blocks sunlight. So what happens? Sometimes ये earth और जो moon है वो sunlight को block कर देता है and shadow is formed. This phenomena is called an eclipse. So here you can see this is sun, this is earth revolving around sun, moon revolves around earth. So there's a time when earth or moon together, either of them, they block the light of the sun. तो जैसे कि आपको समझाया कि anything which is blocking the path of the light तो shadow form हो जाएगा. वो shadow, वो जो एक dark shadow of the sun या moon है, that is called eclipse. वो ग्रहण बन जाता है. So solar eclipse, it occurs when the moon comes in between the sun and the earth. When the moon comes between sun and the earth, that time solar eclipse is formed. The moon then blocks the path of sunlight. The shadow of the moon falls on the earth. So basically, जो moon का जो shadow है वो earth पे दिखता है. So that appears to be eclipse. The sun is hidden behind the moon partially or completely. So at times we can see just a golden rim of sun, एक golden ring जैसा दिखता है. So a part of the sun can be seen or totally moon can cover the image of the sun. And lunar eclipse, in this case solar eclipse form होता है when moon blocks the light of the sun. Now during lunar eclipse, that is lunar means moon, it occurs when the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. So जब sun और moon के बीच में earth आ जाता है, during that time what happens? Lunar eclipse. इस केस में क्या होता है? The earth blocks the path of sunlight. A shadow of the earth is formed on the moon. So इस केस में shadow, earth की shadow moon पे reflect होती है. So the moon cannot be seen partially or even completely. So now you got it. Usually हम कहते हैं कि आज चंद्र ग्रहण है, आज जल्दी सोना है, या whatever rules we follow at our respective houses during solar and lunar eclipses. So this is the scientific logic behind eclipses. So during solar eclipse, moon comes between sun and earth, and during lunar eclipse, earth comes between sun and moon. Now let's come to study about sound. From the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, we hear a variety of sounds. So what all kinds of sound we hear? Chirping of birds, then flow of air, water, wind around us, then horns. We hear ringing of an alarm, chirping of bird, honking of horns, so many things. We also make sounds when we talk. We hear sounds of all kinds with the help of our ears. So these are the things. It's इन चीजों से आवाज create होती है और हम सुनते कैसे हैं? With our ears. The types of sound. A sound is form of energy. Everything, whether living or non-living, they can produce sound. तो sound एक energy है, चाहे वो living thing हो, like we are talking, you are listening to me, then any non-living thing like your video, your TV, your mobile phone, your music recorders, they all can produce sound. There are many types of sound. Some sounds are low, some are soft, some are high, some are loud. Sounds that are low and soft are usually pleasant to hear, वो हमें अच्छा लगता है, while high and loud sounds are unpleasant. Unpleasant sounds are called noise. Too much of noise is bad for our ears and health, and anyone can get irritated by a loud noise. So now you know what is the difference between soft and pleasant and loud and unpleasant noise. So we should learn to speak in a low voice. We should play music system, TV, etc. on a low volume. Avoid the use of horns as well as far as possible. Now force. What is force? In our daily life, we often push or pull things. हम दरवाजा खोलने के लिए पुश करते हैं, हम विंडोज खोलने के लिए पुश करते हैं, हम अलमीरा कबर्ड्स खोलने के लिए पुल करते हैं. So we always apply force. A push or pull is called a force. So these are the various activities which you do, and during this phenomena आप push या pull करते हैं. Correct? Now friction. Force हो गया. Force is sound is a type of energy. Then force क्या था? Force is a push or pull phenomena is called force. Now we have to study about friction. Friction क्या होता है? Roll a ball along the ground. Suppose एक ball ले लीजिए and keep rolling it over the ground. So you will see that ball moves for a certain distance and then it stops on its own. Now why does it happen? ऐसा क्यों होता है? Because a special kind of force is applied to it by the ground surface. So अगर suppose this is the ground and I roll a ball, थोड़ी देर तक वो roll होके एक जगह रुक जाएगा. Why? Because earth or the ground has some kind of force which is helping it to stop moving and then stopping, and this is called friction. Friction develops between two bodies when they touch each other. So two bodies, when they are in contact, when they touch each other, friction appears. Friction slows down or stops when stops a moving object. Friction is less between smooth surfaces and it is greater when the surface is rough. तो बहुत ही पॉलिश्ड स्मूथ सरफेस हो वहां पे फ्रिक्शन नहीं होता. सो सपोज यू आर स्केटिंग और इट्स अ वेरी पॉलिश्ड एंड फाइन सरफेस और आपने बॉल को रोल किया, इट विल कीप रोलिंग ऑन. बट इफ देयर इज अ रफ सरफेस, बहुत ही कंक्रीट और रफ सरफेस है, यू रोल अ बॉल, इट विल कम टू अ स्टॉप. व्हाई? बिकॉज जो रफ सरफेस है वो एक स्पेशल फोर्स exert करता है to stop the moving object, and that force is called friction. Correct? Now let's recall some points. We cannot see anything without light. Some objects are luminous while some are non-luminous. Luminous जो light produce करता है, non-luminous which do not. Then objects block the path of light and it makes shadow out of it. The shadow is always formed on the opposite direction of the source of light. Only opaque objects can make shadow and not the transparent objects. A shadow of the moon on the earth causes a solar eclipse. Shadow of the moon on the earth, solar eclipse form करता है. Shadow of earth on the moon creates lunar eclipse. A push or pull is called force. Force can move an object, stop or slow down a moving object, change the shape or even the direction of an object. Now moving things slow down or stop down on their own because of the force called friction. Correct? So this was all about the kind of forces we apply in our day-to-day life. Light through which we can see. We came to know about eclipses and then friction. So let's quickly try to solve some question. What is a luminous object? So a luminous object are those objects who produces light, who emits light. Like sun is the ultimate luminous object, sun, star, and there are man-made luminous objects like torch, bulb, LED lights. What is the size of the shadow of an object? So size of the shadow of the object depends on the light on which it is falling. It could be bigger or smaller than the object. What kind of objects do not cast shadow and why? So transparent objects, they do not cast shadow because they don't block the path of the light. Light passes through them. How can we reduce noise? So we can speak in a low volume. We can play TV and music system at a lower volume. We should not honk on the road while we are traveling or riding our bikes. So that this is how we can reduce noise. Write 3 things that force can do. So force is applied as push and pull. It can help in opening and closing the doors, and it changes the size, shape and even the direction. Why does a ball rolling along the ground stop after some time? Because of the force of friction which is applied by the ground to the object. It helps in stopping down a moving object. So this was all about this chapter, my dear students. So again, you have to study the chapter, learn the chapter and learn all the question answers and try to answer on your own. Till then, stay excited for the clamp of next video and stay happy and healthy. Thank you so much.